These up for everybody. Couple of sheets with some info we'll be talking about. One of them is a crossword. If you don't want to spoil it, the answers are on the back.
Okay.
Wait a minute, what happened?
Hop on the Wi-Fi.
Wait a minute. That is wild.
What's the matter?
I lost myself.
You lost yourself. Well, we can find you.
I go to Microsoft.
No, you go to Chrome. Remember the one with the little circles? Yep.
Yeah.
Find it a little squared away.
Well, sort of, kind of. It was weird. Let me see.
Sometimes there's a trick to it. Did it want
Yeah.
to open in Adobe?
No, it opened okay, but then it's not even let me.
It is a PDF rather than a PowerPoint, so that could. Oh yeah, you opened it with Edge. You're already ahead of that.
Yeah, so I don't know if I opened it in Edge. And just
Yeah, you
open it,
did.
whatever it
Hey, that
opened it in.
works.
Okay, but then finding the other one. Let's see if this is gonna back and forth. Okay, so this is
The
the
other
first
one's
one.
just the handout. So
Okay, so this
Yeah.
is the one you want.
yeah.
Perfect, perfect. Okay.
What you might do, I don't know if we can, if you wanted to click out of it, because I guess, well, that'll work. It'll be in there. It'll just have Outlook kind of in the background. If you want it to not have Outlook in the background, we can drag it on the desktop and then open it from there, and then it'll just be in
I'm gonna
class.
have to share my whole desktop.
Mhm.
And I gotta talk about the I'm not an expert at all this.
Mm.
If you want, you are welcome to do whatever you feel comfortable with. Like I
Let's-
said, I'm baby stepping. They have to be admitted into the,
We got to bring them in the room.
yeah, they gotta
okay.
be in, so I have to kind of keep an eye on that.
Okay.
But other than that, you have at it.
Okay.
You are much better
If
at
you want
this
me,
than
if
I
you want
am.
me to stick it on there, that way when you screen share, it'll just be the materials. That's up to you.
Totally
If
up
you'd
to you.
rather it be that way, I don't know if you have we have to do it that way because we have confidential emails.
Okay,
So
well, I
that's why-
don't at this time.
Okay.
Hi, Denise. So I don't know.
So it's up to you. Whatever you want to do.
So you don't need anything else from my email, just that?
Just that. Yeah.
Okay.
The other one's the handout.
But-
It's physically here, but I don't know if we want to maybe email it out at the end or something. It's just a little reminder.
Okay, yeah, I liked those handouts.
I do too. They make them better
Yeah.
than I could. And like I said, this is all government resources. You can print it 1,000 times and spread them everywhere you want to. So there's no licensing or fair use. Or
Awesome.
Whatever. So
Awesome.
it's just out there for the public.
All right, let me see. Hezekiah, did you find yourself yet?
Very well. Oh,
Did you find yourself?
yeah. I gotta agree.
Sorta, okay, so remember your password.
Okay.
I remember it, do you?
I know.
Remember its password? Lowercase. And I don't remember those numbers. Okay, let's see, between the two of us. Oh, it's an and. There we go, okay. Well, good afternoon.
Oh,
All right, you have your phone with you, it's being picky again.
yes, ma'am.
Looking for this one. That's right here.
Oh,
I got
Yeah, you gotta turn it off
these
for
for
me.
everybody.
If you get your phone. Or with your camera. Okay.
These for you guys.
I didn't know I could do all this.
Well, it's being problematic.
I mean, wait.
There we go. This is what we needed. It is 7. Goodness. All right. And most of it, he's gonna be doing the talking, so we just have a few little things as backups if necessary. All right.
Look at all you.
Hello, doing well. Did you get signed in? Excellent. All right, you wanna go to Google, sign in your little Google thing? Sign your out breath. Were you running to get here? Oh, yikes. Not fun. Let me see, just do, let's see. What's your password? So, was that all caps, do you remember?
Yes. That's what I did.
Been good so far. Yeah, you did right. That's a 19. See if you like it this time. Okay, now it likes it. All right. Silly computer. You might not need any of it. So
Right.
we can hook you up also to an HDMI cable so they can see.
Okay, cool. Looks like you had a couple people
Yep,
wanting to be
yep,
let
yep.
in.
There we go. You don't have to do anything there. All right, so guys, today up here, he's gonna be showing you stuff that you, so we might not even be on the Google Classroom much, okay? How we doing out there? Everybody doing all right? Remember, if you could please to type into the chat your name so we can make sure we've got attendance. So if it's both Janet and Joetta, if you guys could type your names, please. Hi, Denise. Hello. All right. So Janet and Joetta, if you guys could type your names, please, in the chat for us. Appreciate it.
So what's the time frame again? Is it 2 to 3 or?
2 to 3 is fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. So sometimes they go more quickly,
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
sometimes they go longer.
Whatever.
Typically, it depends on what we have to do when we've got to do a lot of things.
Okay.
Now, Hezekiah, you can't fall asleep on me there.
I got it. I'm quick.
All right.
I gotta do my mind and shit, right? You know, what-
I'll try to be exciting.
Oh, I guess I didn't have to let her in. I guess they got in on their own. Okay. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started here. We've got
Okay.
Dalton gonna be
Joetta and Janet are here.
great. Did
Hello?
you guys- Were you able to put in the chat?
We can watch, but we don't know how to do anything else on a phone.
Okay, all right, then I'll go ahead and add you on there for you, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Dalton is here with the Bank of Tennessee, and he's going to talk to us about finances today. And so we are very pleased to have him here with us. Before we get started, I do want to remind you next week is our graduation. Yay! So what we need to do is make sure that everyone has RSVP'd with either Aaron or myself. We would love for you to come in person if you can, because we're going to have some food, we're going to have some swag, we're going to have some fun. I'd love to meet my Zoom people. I understand it's a little more difficult. Will you guys both be here then next week?
Yes,
We're-
Tuesday.
Tuesday, yep. And you can come either Tuesday at 2 o'clock or Thursday at 9:30 in the morning if you prefer. We're going to have different foods on different days. On that, we're going to have more breakfasty kind of things on Thursday. We're going to have a little lunchy kind of thing on Tuesday. My restaurant's going to go ahead and do that for us. So we hope to see those of you that are in Zoom world come out here, but I understand sometimes that's just the way that goes. Okay. So if you would RSVP, please, either way, to let us know if you're going to participate in Zoom or here. If you're going to be here and you're normally Zoom, you can come in at that time. We've got a few little post assessments we're going to do on the computer. Then we're going to move to a classroom where we're going to go ahead and enjoy good fellowship and food and celebration. Any questions on that? Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Dalton then.
That's fine. All right. Hello, everybody, and hello, people online, if you can see me. Good deal. I'll minimize this. Gotta make that bigger.
That's us.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not too far from there.
Oh, really? Where do you live?
I'm going to the school.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to get my presentation opened up here.
Y'all do breakfast.
No, we do lunches and dinners, but once in a while we do breakfast. So we're going to bring some breakfast up for the Thursday people.
Let's see.
But you guys are gonna get
There's
some
me.
shrimp wrap and bacon, I think.
I got to make it better.
Okay, this one ought to work.
Well, we have a nice lunch and things, a buffet for $12.
Right.
You get soups and salads and you get either toothpaste.
All right, folks, I think I've got it squared away here. So my name is Dalton Bryant, and I work at the Bank of Tennessee, and I've been there for almost 5 years now. And in that time, I've had a lot of different roles. I've done lots of different stuff. Right now, I'm in our compliance team. So part of being compliant as a FDIC financial institution is making sure that we educate the public on important issues that are going on in the banking and finance world, making sure that we get our community as involved as we can in abating those. And part of that is me sharing with you these resources here. For your age cohort, this is the Money Smart program, which is sponsored by the FDIC. And the primary issue that's facing Americans who are your all's age is fraud and scams. So you've probably heard about this. It's kind of a hot topic right now, but this curriculum we have here, we're going to go through. It tells you right here. One study has suggested that older Americans have lost at least $2.9 billion to financial exploitation. And that is crazy. That's more assets than our entire bank. So our whole bank's worth of money has been scammed away from people. And there's a lot of reasons why that happens. And it's not so simple as you think. They're pretty crafty. The people that are out there doing this, they range from opportunistic criminals to, in some cases, international organized crime rings. So they can get really smart and they can be really good at what they do. You got to think for us, finance and our business that we do is just a part of our lives. But for these people, they can make a whole career on scamming you, and they tend to be pretty good at it. So we're trying to stay ahead of that. But as I go through here, I want to make sure you guys know that I have a general knowledge of financial literacy. I know about the budgets. I have done loans. I've done deposits. I know generally a lot about the broader banking world. I've got a bachelor's in economics. So if there's anything else we want to talk about once we go through this, I'm open to pretty much any question you guys want to have for me. So if that's good, I'm just going to roll on with it.
You know how to kind of check up to see, make sure nobody is. I think it'll pop up there to say if anybody else is leaving.
If anybody else wants to get in, let's see.
Yeah, I know.
Let's look. Yeah, nobody else. Looks like we're all in here.
Just want to make sure.
Sure thing. Yeah,
Thank you.
good deal. We'll start with this by not where it says getting started, because we know what financial exploitation is. That's whenever somebody basically separates you either not just from your finances, but also from your identity. They can get your social security number, they can get your other information, and they can use that to open lines of credit. It's not just necessarily taking whatever cash on hand you have right now, it's also identity theft. But there's lots of places this can come from, and there's lots of reasons why they target people who are older. Typically because a lot of us might be getting social security benefits or veterans benefits. Some people are more dependent in their older age on people, and that makes people think they can get away with scamming them, which is pretty awful. I mean, you got to be really, we're not going to pass any moral judgments on the people that are doing this, because you could spend all day on that. But basically what you run into here, and we'll get more into this in detail, people can abuse power of attorneys to take your money and scam you. People can literally just steal it. That's common. Investment frauds. There's lots of people out there, especially with like crypto and with how much the investment game has changed in the last decade. There's a whole lot of people out there that are using this new frontier of finance to kind of slip in some stuff that's not real and separate people from their money that way. You probably heard of people saying, "Oh, you've won the lottery, or you've got this publisher's clearinghouse check," and that's a common thing they'll do. They'll pretend to be your grandchildren or other beloved family members, and they can use artificial intelligence to fake their voices on a phone call. So we'll get into that and strategies to get around that. There's the classic telemarketers. Telemarketers been around a long time. That's not really new. They're just trying some different scripts. And then, of course, they can actually hack into your computer. So we're going to talk about that. And a lot of times, if older people are more likely to own their home, they'll try to trick you into taking out an extra mortgage on that, which is devastating. But just real quick, these are the kind of people that it happens to be to do this. It's sad to say, but family members and caregivers can sometimes, that's just, I guess, a crime of proximity, because they're just the ones that are around them a lot, and that happens a lot. Friends, neighbors, and acquaintances, that's once again just proximity. Less common, but your agents who are your powers of attorney can sometimes abuse that. What we see a lot more of is fraudulent debt collectors, these telephone and mail scammers, these romance scams. Those are your people that do this for a living. And I've seen behind the scenes investigations. There are call centers operating in other parts of the world that run on 3 shifts. They got a day shift, a night shift, and a mid shift. And they got people that speak whatever languages that the people who are awake at that time of day are speaking. So these are intricate things. They are professionals. But that's not to scare you. That's just to let you know what's going on. There's some things you can do, and if you follow a key set of principles, you can protect yourself from a lot of this. And that's what we want to see. So I'm going to keep on scrolling down through here. If you guys know anybody, or if you know someone now who might be a victim of this, There are phone numbers right here that you can call, and will this be shared after the fact or saved somewhere? Yeah. So this page right here basically is you're like, oh no, what happened to me? What do I do? Line. The first thing you do is contact your financial institution and let them know, or and perhaps it's your social services provider. Just let them know. We got phone numbers here where you report this. Obviously, if you're in immediate physical danger, that would be like an emergency 911 type deal. But this is your little worksheet here that tells you who can help you, what to do, and who to get in touch with if you think this might have happened to you. So the sooner you call them, the more they can do for you. It's always good to do it as quickly as possible. We're going to get into this, and I'm going to talk to you some of the different ways they do this. This is a really in-depth topic. I mean, you can see I've got 105 pages of this. I'm not saying we're going to go through all of that, but this is massive, and it was such a big problem that this is a joint effort of the CFPB, which is the Consumer Financial Protection Board, and the FDIC, who are the people that insure the banks. So all of this government authority and all of this private financial authority came together to make this document because it's such a massive issue of our times. So the first type of exploitation is a fiduciary. So that is a person who's managing your affairs for your benefit. Sometimes that could be a power of attorney. Sometimes that could be someone who is an authorized user on your financial statements, or perhaps something called a POD, a payable on death, that doesn't have as much of an authority over the account immediately. But what happens here is you basically give legal authority to someone to make decisions over your money or property. And it's really important that when you do that, or if you decide to do that at some point, you make sure that it's someone you can absolutely trust, and possibly make sure that's not someone who could perhaps have some ulterior motive or benefits to your misfortune. So, I wouldn't put someone who is perhaps, in an extreme financial duress over an authority of something like this if they have what could be seen maybe later on as a motive to separate you from your finances. So this is the risk right here. So your agent might pressure you for authority you don't want to grant. Your agent may spend your money on him or herself rather than for your benefit. That happens sometimes. And once you give this authority, it's much harder to take it back. So you want to be really sure if you're going to do something like that. There's a lot of advantages to having a power of attorney, especially as you age and especially as you might run into circumstances where it behooves you to have a friend or a trusted confidant handle your affairs if you were to become incapacitated. But do so very carefully, because we do see it that people will abuse that power. So there's some details here about how these vary, how these power of attorneys go. There's different types for different states. But basically, if you're going to do something like this, spend the time to really investigate it and make sure you only give them power over absolutely necessary things, or don't give them such blanket jurisdiction that if you think they might use that against you later, that they'd be able to. So here it basically tells you that. That's the ways you would minimize that. Basically, the more people know about what's going on, the better. If you have a network of people, or if you have other friends and family members, keep them in the loop about what you're doing. Or hey, I'm going to make this person my power of attorney, so if they do a bunch of weird stuff, let me know. Yeah, avoid appointing a person who mismanages their own money or has problems with substance abuse or gambling. That's a good call there, because that's probably a pretty big share of who would be abusing this. Beware of someone who wants to help you out by handling your finance to be your new best friend. If an offer of help seems too good to be true, it probably is. Some wise advice there from the FDIC. That's to say, though, that this is still a very powerful financial tool. It's not to say that you should never have a power of attorney. It's more just telling you to be very careful with it, because we're seeing some people abuse that. Just want to let you in on that, let you know about that. Something else you see a lot of is exploitation by caregivers and in-home helpers. Here are some steps you can do to make sure that if there's caregivers in your house, or maybe perhaps people that visit you on a regular basis, or really just if you have a lot of people in your house all the time or where you're staying, this is a good thing. Get some good practices to do. Generally don't let people open your mail, or if someone is opening your mail, you guys probably know not to let them do that, or to tell them to quit doing that. If someone's buying something for you, ask for a receipt, because sometimes they'll say, if you have a caregiver living in home, we see that they will go get groceries for the house, but they end up also buying groceries for their own house sometimes. That's financial abuse. That's fraud. But they get away with it if you don't sometimes ask for receipts. It's good to know if you might suspect if the cash flows aren't making sense, or if you know you're supposed to have money and you don't, some things to look into. Yeah, never lend employees money. They're paid to be there to help you, so that's a bad idea. Um, Securing your valuables such as jewelry and other property, that's kind of an obvious bullet point to me. I think I do that. I don't have a caregiver, but I mean, that's as best as you can. It's pretty good if you have something valuable to secure that, not leave it around where people can get into it. It says to never let caregivers use your credit debit card to run errands for you. I'm going to say just don't do that. Don't let anybody ever use your credit or debit card. I feel like that's probably in our policy somewhere for when we make those, is that you're not going to let someone else use it as if they were you. Because the best case scenario is that they don't do anything with that. But a lot of the times, if they were to transact on it and it's your debit card and you lent it to them and you gave them consent to use it, even if they do something perhaps that you didn't agree to, it gets it a lot murkier if you want to go dispute that. If I was to give my debit card and tell someone to go to the store and they get scammed themselves, can I execute that dispute because I was not there at the point of the sale? It complicates it. I'm not saying you can't get your money back, but it makes it a lot harder. So just keep your cards close to your chest is what I would say is the summary of these bullet points, because these are just ways that people can get into your stuff. You know, we see a lot of this. Now, you may think this sounds a little silly, but I know for a fact we had one person who was called by who they believed was Kevin Costner. And it wasn't Kevin Costner. It was someone who faked that they were Kevin Costner and said, "Hey, we really need you to send Kevin some money. You know, he's getting divorced, but he saw you on the internet and he really likes you and he wants to get in touch with you and this and that. He just needs to settle these things." You know, it sounds silly for us to say here. You know, you can laugh at it, but it's actually very sad. Because they target people. They can actually look through obituaries. They'll look at the local newspaper and they'll see if someone's lost a spouse, and they'll find people who are a very older age, and they'll target those people because they think that they have an easier chance in their distress to take advantage of them, and it works. And that is despicable, but that's something that people are doing. Look here, you lost $304 million to that in 2020. $304 million, according to the Federal Trade Commission, was taken by romance scammers. That's a 50% increase. So it's not always Kevin Costner. Sometimes it's more believable than that. Sometimes it's someone on Instagram or something will come across and they look like a real person. And maybe they even have friends. Maybe you even have some of the same friends on social media. I've seen that. And they'll say, "Hey, I'd like to come to your town and visit you. Can you send me some gas money?" And then you send them $200 and it's gone. And then they also have your debit card number. And then you start seeing a whole bunch of weird transactions. And next thing you know, you're in our office and we're helping you try to get that back. That's basically the gist of the romance scams. That's getting more common. And as more and more of our relationships with people get into an online space, this is going to become more and more common, because it's harder to suss it out if you're not really talking to them face to face. And it's getting more and more normal to know people and talk to people who you may not have met in person. So it's muddy in the water on this situation. But that's something you definitely want to be careful of. Basically, it'll give you some tips here for some warning signs. Somebody you don't know is being really overly complimentary and flirtatious to you. That's a warning sign. If they want to keep the relationship secret, that's a warning sign. That sometimes they'll do it where they say that they're cheating on their spouse. And if you take them up on that, then obviously you got to keep this on the down low. Well, really, they just don't want anyone else around you to say, "Hey, that's probably a scam." Very affectionate, very insistent. It says pressures and hurries here. That's true of all of these. Anyone who's scamming you is going to want you to be in a really big hurry, and they're going to be high pressure. It's going to be like car salesman stuff. They're going to want to
they're going to want you to do what they're saying really quick, and it's going to be some reason or some justification for why this is urgent. The reason they do that is because they don't want you to take your time and think about what's happening. They're leveraging that against you. So, in the case of Kevin Costner, it was because he was somewhere out west on a movie set and he needed money to get somewhere else. So you could say that's living or traveling outside the country. Some people lie about being in the military. That actually gets younger people. I've seen people under the age of 30 get caught up in one of these romance scams, and they grew up with the internet. So, it's not just it's not a specific age group thing, but people pretend to be in the military. They'll make friends with 10 or 15 of your friends, make it look like they're a real person. And then next thing you know, you send them a little bit of money to help them out because you've been talking to them. They can talk to you for months. Some of these people are dedicated to this. It's crazy, but I've seen that happen to young people. This is not a elder exclusive type of fraud here. This is just kind of something that's going on. Yeah, claiming to need money for an emergency. That's common. Using wire transfers, gift cards. That's another thing. Gift cards. Gift cards you're going to see that more throughout all of this. That's something they like because if you buy them a gift card, then they can use that anywhere and they can redeem it anywhere. If it's a check, you'll have to write it to them, or that might get hung up, or you might get the money back. But once you buy that gift card, you can give it to anybody and they can use it with no verification. So that's why I like the gift cards. Now, if you think this is happening to you, number one, you should stop talking to the person. Number two, you would want to let your financial institution know, or whoever's over your card, or whoever's over your information, get in touch with them and say, hey, I think I might have let somebody in on this. If you came to us, if we were your bank, and you came in and said, hey, I've been talking to this person, I think they might have my info, we would turn off all your stuff and then print you a new one. And then you'd have a new card number and you'd pretty much be in and out in about 30, 45 minutes because we're probably quicker than that. We're pretty used to this. When I was at the bank, when I work at the back office now, but when I worked on the teller line, I had about one or two, not necessarily romance scams, but one or two debit card frauds per day. So I had 100 transactions. I see 100 people a day. 2 of them are going to have me. I'm going to make them a new debit card because they got frauded. So doesn't sound like a lot, 2 out of 100, but if you think the other 98 were pretty much either dropping off cash or cashing checks, it makes you think. But we'll probably handle up reporting the scams to the Federal Trade Commission. But if you ever feel like you want to report that, there's a little link there where you can do that. We report it with the OFAC, Office of Financial Asset Control, whenever we see it happen. But the more people that report it, the more people that are aware of this, you actually have a chance of catching them. Sometimes these people get caught, especially if they're operating inside the United States. That's some of that. I don't know if any of you have any questions about those. That's what we're seeing right now. Those are some of the exciting ones. If not, I'll carry on. Investment fraud, securities fraud. This is another type of this that we're talking about. It says it right here. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. I actually had a customer come into the bank and attempt to bring me into one of these. And I was like, no, thank you. I am good. They told me that they're part of this investing crypto scheme and that these investors have figured out a way to make the money that it always goes up, and they know just a little before when it goes down and they'll sell it, and that they've never lost money. And I said, wow, they've never lost money, never taken a loss on their investment. I said, they're better than Warren Buffett because the richest men in the world have lost money on their investments. There is no such thing as an investment that does not occasionally drop in value. If somebody tells you that there is, they're wrong. I mean, simple as. That is too good to be true. And turns out that was a crypto FTX. You may have heard of Sam Bankman-Fried in the news. That was what they were wanting to. That's what they were telling me about. I hope they got out when they were able to, because all their money, all that guy's money that he managed is gone now.
Do you report something like that? What do you do?
Yeah, that's called a suspicious activity report. And we let compliant with the Bank Secrecy Act, we let people know whenever strange transactions are happening or someone we might think being abused. You've also got the link here for the Federal Trade Commission. This guy eventually, about 2 months after this, got taken down by the SEC, who regulates the stock trading. Turns out he was operating out of the Cayman Islands and was taking all of these crypto investment funds and was just sitting on it. And if you ever tried to pull your money out on the website, there was a delay of about 10 to 14 days for him to get your money to you. And during that time, he would shuffle his funds around and let some people out, all hoping that not all of them would try to get out at the same time. Now, when an investigative journalist said, hey, this is probably a scam, and everyone tried to pull their money out at the same time, turns out it wasn't there. So he is, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's in federal prison right now. If he's not, then he should be. But yeah, that was the most recent.
I worked in the car wash
Uh-huh.
and, you put the card in there
Yeah.
and then, I found out later on them getting money out of my account.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you stop it?
Yeah.
Good.
I found, like I had to check my bank account
Uh-huh.
and, I asked him to assist, And, I asked the manager, he told me, the card company, car wash,
Mm-hmm.
that they didn't get permission for me to take money out.
Yeah.
every month. But they got on themselves to take it out.
Oh, okay.
And that's what that, they can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Give them that card.
Yeah.
They can do that without your permission.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I said, I went back up, I went there and I told them, why did y'all take money out of my card? And, I didn't really get no response. I told them, just cut it off.
Okay. They cut it off for you when you told them
Cut
to?
it off.
Good.
But, I got a couple more days to go.
Well, that's good.
They already took money out anyway.
Yeah, okay. That's something to watch out for. But imagine how bad that would have been if you didn't check your bank account often, or you just got paper statements and you never looked at them. We have people who don't check their bank accounts very frequently, and I'm sure that's somewhere in this presentation. If it's not, I'm going to tell you right now, check your bank account all the time. That's a really good thing. The more you check your bank account, the more likely you are to catch this before it's a serious problem. I check my bank account now. Obviously, I work at the bank, so I'm going to check it a lot, but I check my bank account multiple times a day. Sometimes I'll check it in the morning, in the evening, just like to see what's coming in and going. Like to see, I'll see stuff and I'm like, okay, yeah, I bought that. I've been scammed. They've got my debit card info before. I don't know where they got it, maybe from a gas pump skimmer or from something, but I had people buying like clothing, like from a clothing website on my card at like 2 a.m. And I woke up to go to work, and in the morning I was getting ready. I checked my bank account and I'm like, why is this pending? And I asked my wife, I was like, did you buy, I was like, were you online shopping at 2 a.m. and not telling me about it? And she was like, no, she wasn't. And she was asleep the whole night too. And I was like, okay, well, I'll do a dispute. And I did a dispute and I had to get a new debit card. And it's me, I work at the bank. So like it can happen to anybody. But that's good. You did the right thing by keeping an eye on it. And I'm glad they made it right for you.
I tell you what, when I got my money, I
Mhm.
check it
Yeah.
and down. All right, I figured out at home and then
Yeah.
I go to check it out in the bank and see if it's come out right.
Good stuff.
And then that's how I caught them
Mm-hmm.
taking the money out.
Very good. I'm glad you did that. Have you guys ever heard of a Ponzi scheme? That's an old scam with a simple formula. You promise a high return. Then this is what I was just talking about. This is what these other people were doing. It was a Ponzi scheme. The money from the new investors is used to pay the previous investors. And what happens is you either run out of new people's money or you run out of new people to take their money from. That's the only two ways this can end. It kind of ends up looking like a pyramid scheme. Unscrupulous financial advisors, that's one of those things where it's like they might actually be trying to do the right thing, or they might actually be somebody that knows a little bit about this. They're not necessarily a fraudster so much as they are just kind of bad and don't care about being compliant with their job. Those people usually don't operate for very long before they get caught. See people who pretends to be members of the military or an ethnic group or a religious organization, and then they use that to get their foot in the door with you, and then they can get to your money that way. Of course, this is always on the internet too. Here's actually a cool website. We'll give you these slides, by the way. There's a phone number right there, and there's also a website you can do where if you're talking, if someone says they're a financial advisor or they want to get you in on an investment, you can actually check and see if they're licensed to do this. Everyone that we have that sells annuities or any securities or any type of investment or stock trading thing, you actually have to have a license to do that. And all of these people are registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. So if someone's trying to sell you these things and they're not licensed, then you can't always be guaranteed that you'll even be able to get your money back if you deal with them, because they won't be held compliant, they won't be under review. And when they get in trouble, you'll have to see what you get in a settlement after maybe a few years. But this is a good, really good thing right here, especially these days, because there's so many different ways to invest on the internet. And having this access to check and make sure, I would do that every single time. Here's some classic tips to see if you're, to keep in mind if you're dealing with things like this. Never judge a person's trustworthiness by the sound of their voice. I would say never judge a person's trustworthiness with anything to do with their voice, because they can actually fake their voices now. I could get a thing on the computer here and I could talk through it and change my voice entirely. I could imitate anybody. It does it. It's like a technology that can do that. Once again, the pressuring, the rushing, that's classic. Anytime that someone wants you to make a mistake or do something, they're going to try to do it before you can think about it. So that's very common. Always ask for a written explanation of any investment. That's pretty good. That's a good piece of it. I didn't think of that, but that's good. Yeah, someone who tells you to leave everything too, be wary of that. That's another great point there. None of these people who do investments for you are ever going to be doing so as a sole proprietor or under their own name. Like if I said, hey, I'm Dalton Bryant and I work with Bank of Tennessee and I want to help you invest money, I wouldn't make you wouldn't write the check to Dalton Bryant, because then Bank of Tennessee wouldn't get it. That's good stuff right there. Oh, here it is. I was looking for this. This is my favorite piece of advice when it comes to anything to do with investments. And I would tell this to anybody, even people that are still in college right now. Never invest in a product you do not understand. The number one thing that gets people into trouble, and this is what got people into trouble with the one I was telling you about a minute ago. They were dropping all the big words. They were saying this is a crypto, Forex, FTX, hyper, super online computer, like web exchange. It's ethereal. It's all this stuff. Like, it's just a bunch of buzzwords that you might hear on TV or you might see and investors talk about. Just because it sounds really fancy, if you don't understand what's actually happening, don't put your money in it. I would never put my money in something that I didn't understand. That's not to say that I'm not the most understanding of what's going on with crypto. But that means that goes to say I don't invest in it. So if I was gonna invest in it, I would have to really know what that is and know how it works and know everything about it. So investments always have a risk, though. There's no such thing as a risk-free investing. You either have little risk or you have a lot of risk, but there's no such thing as zero risk. Oh, and if you ever invest in things, all these investments accounts are not FDIC insured. So if you put your money in a bank account, you're covered up to $250,000, even if the bank goes out. That's because of the Great Depression. When the Great Depression happened, everybody took all their money out of the bank, and the banks didn't have any money because, as you know, we lend it to other people. So after the Great Depression happened and they did this run on the banks, President Roosevelt came in and said, and Congress as well, the Senate, they said, we got to do something to make people have confidence in the bank. So that's where the FDIC comes from. That's insurance. So Silicon Valley Bank, 3 years, I can't believe it's been 3 years. 3 years ago, there was a run on Silicon Valley Bank because they were invested in some weird stuff that people didn't really understand. And for a lot of different reasons, they had a bad year. And a lot of the people who had their money in the bank accounts were like, hey, I'm going to take my money out because I don't think this bank's going to be around much longer. And of course, when one person does that, everybody else in the bank's like, oh, I better take my money out too. So that's what they did. And those people were made whole, even though Silicon Valley Bank doesn't have the money. the FDIC steps in and gives them their insured amount up to $250,000. So at every bank you have an account with, the sum of all of your accounts, you're insured up to $250,000. So that's not what happened in the 1930s where people lose all their money. That's not going to happen again. Now you might, if you have one bank account with $1 million in it, you're only insured 250. So you could lose 750, but you're not going to lose more than 250. So there you go. That's the FDIC. So banks are insured. Banks are protected. You put your money in a bank. Same thing with a credit union. Credit unions, they also are covered by this. So that covers certificate of deposits, savings account, money markets. That's your kind of like your safe investments, you know, you want to say. You know, they say there's no risk in an investment. Well, if it's under 250 and it's in a savings account, even if the bank goes out of business, you can still get it back because the government will give you your money back. So that's about as close to no risk as you can possibly get. Have you guys ever had telephone people call and bother you to try to get your money? Every single day. They call me too. This is an old one though. They've been doing this forever. I was watching Seinfeld, and there was one of the episodes where one of the jokes was he got a call from a telephone scammer, and I was like, wow. They've been. I think as long as there's been a telephone, I know Alexander Graham Bell made the first phone call, but I think the second one was probably a scammer. It probably was. I talked a minute ago about the grandparents scam. They pretend to be your grandchild. One of your handouts is on this too. They can also pretend to be any family member. Sometimes they'll call and it might be, oh hey, I'm in jail. I need you to come help me, or oh hey, I got a flat tire. My car's broke down. I need you to send me this money. And if your loved one has their voice on the internet, or if they have posted, or if they're on social media and there's video of them talking, they can actually record the video of them and then feed that into an artificial intelligence, and then they can make their voice say different things. So it's exactly their voice that'll call and say, hey, it's me, please send me this money, I need it. And we've had people come into the bank like upset. They're like, is this really them? I need to send a wire right now. And we're like, and we have to explain this to them, and we sound crazy because they're like, what are you talking about? This isn't a robot, this is my kid talking to me. But we tell them, no, they do this. We say, just do us one thing. There's one way you can make sure of this. Hang up the phone and say, let me call you back on your phone. And then you go in and then you call the person and they answer and they're like, what are you talking about? I'm at home. I've seen that happen in our lobby before. I was like, can you just do me a favor? I was like, here, if you want to keep the line open, take our phone and call them, see if they answer. And they answered. I was like, so you're talking to them on this phone and they're also at home. You know, that doesn't square. So there you go.
My dad had that happen twice.
Twice?
Twice.
Yeah.
And he called back my son.
That's how you get them. That's
Yeah.
how you get out of that is you actually you call the
voice
person.
recognition thing, but they said I'm not feeling well. I've got
Oh yeah.
So my voice doesn't sound right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a little more amateur than some of the
Yes.
pros. Yeah. That's a terrible thing though, and that's just awful. I would say as much as you can. This is a good thing for all of these scams. If you feel like something's fishy, then you hang up and call the people they say they are. If the bank calls you and they're like, hey, this is the bank, you need to send us your whole social security number or we're going to cancel your account. Hang up with them, call the bank and say, hey bank, do you want me to do this? Then you're talking to the bank because you're the one that called them. That's how you get out of that. IRS telephone scam. Listen, if you owe the IRS money, they're gonna find you. They don't have to call. They don't have to call you. They'll send you mail. They'll turn over rocks in the desert. They'll figure out where you're at and they'll get it back. You ain't gonna get away from them, and they don't need your information. They know who you are. IRS has got everybody's information. They know everything about you. They're not gonna call and ask, hey, do you live here? Hey, is this your job? No, they know where you work. They know where you live. They'll come find you. That's my thing with the IRS. Yeah, they send bogus emails too. They do that a lot. If you ever get them on the ropes, they'll start saying, oh, you're going to go to jail. We're going to take you to jail. We're going to take your stuff. Like, if the IRS is going to take you to jail, they're going to show up and do it. And you're going to have a lot of time to figure that out before that happens. They'll give you lots of options before they do that. They're not going to call you out of the blue one day and the first time that you don't pay something take you to jail. typically they'll put you on a payment. If you actually do owe the IRS money, they'll work with you on some kind of payment plan most often, and they'll probably want to meet with you, and they'll probably be talking with your social security, and they'll probably be talking with all kinds of different stuff. They're never going to come in asking you about these things they should know about. So, and once again, if you think, hey, maybe actually I do owe the IRS money, then if you reach out to them, they'll be a lot nicer to you than if you wait for them to reach out for you. If you ever have that happening to you, we've got links right here. You can go to the IRS website, and they got a website where you can go in and you can type in the phone number of the person that called you and said they were the IRS, and they'll go shut it down. So that way, if nothing else, all these scammers have to keep buying new phone numbers. So that's how you can do your part to help with that. I'll just keep running through it.
What happened to me, I don't know. And that well, like what you say once. And what happened is, I guess I got 2 phones. Okay. One I don't answer unless I recognize the number. And the other one I don't bother with it. I always tell spam or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't give that number out.
Yeah.
And it's just, the family number. I gotta recognize those two. And one person said, he don't answer the phone.
Yeah. I'm about the same way. I tend to not answer it. Sometimes I'll answer it. A lot of times people trying to get me to buy a warranty on my car. I tell them no thanks, I'm good. Here's how you avoid these. I bet it's gonna say on here what your plan is to not answer them if you don't know who they are. That's a great plan. I endorse that. That's very good. Here we got a little activity. I'm gonna skip through the activity because we don't have to do the activity. Oh yeah. People calling you saying they're a debt collector. Hey, you owe money on this medical bill from 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Probably not. Probably not. They usually have a little bit of information. They got a little bit of stuff to make it sound like they're legitimate. Maybe they. Yeah.
I had that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I check my lawyer.
Yeah.
I give up to what information already. Call back. If I answer the phone, I usually talk to them. That's something else.
It sure is. Oh yeah, here's a good thing. If you owe somebody money, they're gonna give you an address where you can mail the check. If you owe somebody money, first of all, you can't press criminal charges against that. That's not true. You can't go to prison for unpaid debts. Sensitive financial information now that could be legitimate. They might ask you for that, but I wouldn't give it to them because you don't want to give it to them anyway. You would say, if this is truly a debt collector, then you'll have to negotiate with them a verified way through which you would pay that. And that's going to involve mailing them a check most likely. But I wouldn't give them, if you actually do owe a debt collector something, don't give them your bank account, because then even if you do make a settlement, they might take the whole amount that they say you owe them. So I would deal with that on a case-by-case basis. That's a common one now, the phantom scam debt collection. Charity scams, everybody's asking for a donation. Sometimes these are real. Sometimes the charities aren't as good of a charity as you think you are. That's a different level of scam. But then people make up these fake charities. I've seen GoFundMe's on the Facebook page. They'll say, oh, someone will get their Facebook hacked, and then it'll be like someone you went to high school with, and they'll post and they'll say, oh, I've been in a terrible car accident, and I need all this medical support, and here's my GoFundMe, and you go give $20 to it or something, and it's not a real charity because they got their Facebook hacked and they're actually doing fine. So once again, be very skeptical of that. Yeah. Doesn't provide proof that a contribution is tax deductible. That's a good one. Thanks you for a pledge you don't remember making. Asks for donations in cash or asks you to wire money. That's good signs that you're probably not dealing with something real. It's always the urgency. It's always the urgency, and it's always avoiding traceable transactions. They don't want you to do it on a credit card because you can dispute it. They don't want you to do it on a debit card because you can dispute it. They don't want you to do it on a check because that can be intercepted too. They want cash, they want wires, they want gift cards. And if they're adamant about it being that way, that's because they don't want you to get it back. Pretty much. I mean, most places you can pay in a variety of ways. I don't know anywhere that doesn't take a credit card anymore. I don't know anywhere, legitimate you couldn't use a check. So, but we got all kinds of checklists and things here. You got to report these if you get caught with one. Phishing and spoofing. You guys ever got emails from people that are weird? Yeah, we get all the weird emails too.
Nigerian people.
Yeah, or
Say the royal family.
yeah, that's the classic one. Now, when that came out, that was actually kind of clever. That was a lot of, low risk, high reward thing, but obviously it's a joke now, but they've kind of brought it back in a different way, not necessarily a Nigerian prince, but more maybe like a wealthy man who's stuck overseas who just needs one American citizen to vouch for him or something. That we've seen that. And this is where they pretend to be the bank. That's what a spoofing is. Spoofing is when they will send out an email from it's bankoftennessee.com, but it's with one N instead of two, or something like that. They can make an email address that's like bankoftennessee@gmail.com, but it's spelled wrong because it's available. And then they'll send you an email like, hey, can you give me your bank account information? And then if you send it back to them, they'll get in there and take your money. So don't do that.
Do that with phone numbers too.
They do it with phone number. You call and they can get a caller ID that says it's us. When that happens, we typically send out a mass email that's like, hey, we're not calling you, or hey, if we call you and ask you to do something weird, call us back and see if it was actually us, because chances are it's not going to be. And any bank should do that for you. That's not just us. Everybody will do that. But use a trusted security software. Yeah, don't ever email your bank account numbers to anybody. If your banker asks you to send you your bank account via email, don't. I'm not going to ask you to do that. And if someone at our bank asks you to do that, tell me who asked you, and I'll tell them to stop doing that, because that's not how we operate. You don't send sensitive information over emails like that. They'll either have you log in, or they'll call and they'll say, hey, what's your birthday? Or something, and that's us verifying it's you. So typically, if you call us and we see your phone number, chances are by the time the call connects, we've already got your stuff pulled up. So we're not going to ask you what your account number is. We're going to see it right there, or we might ask you what account you're talking about. And if we say, oh, are you talking about the account with this much in it? Or are you talking about the account that is the checking that ends in these two numbers? Then you're going to know that we are looking at the screen that has your stuff on it. So these are just some good little tips right here for avoiding these. Use hard passwords. Turn your PC off when you're not using it. If you ever get one of these people, if you're ever on a website or someone's calling you and they're like, we're going to go into your computer and move the mouse for you and show you how to fix this, don't do that. That's not good. That's almost always not good. Unless you know the person and you can go see them in person and you can make a meeting with them and you can visit them and it's somebody that you personally know, don't do that ever. Don't ever let somebody have access to your computer. And here you go. This is probably what you guys are already doing. Somebody sends you an email or a text asking for this stuff, just delete it. And if you're concerned, actually call the number that's on the mail that gets sent to you or on the back of your card. If you call the number on the back of your card, then you know you're talking to the people that are dealing with your card. These are all just good practices, but I'm running here to the end. I've got about 9 minutes left. I think that was a pretty good fraud avoidance talk. I don't know if you guys want to know about anything else that's going on with it, or I'm ready to call it right there if that's all the material that we feel like we want to go over for now.
You guys have questions for him?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Do you have any debit, credit card issue, questions or anything?
Good.
I see it all. I never really give them anything. I thought find out about
Good deal. You guys are on top of it.
I come quickly to because you get asked the question once, and they call back. You hang up, they call back and say, "Well, you topic, you call me earlier." Just go on with the conversation.
Oh, they'll never leave you alone. I know, it's awful. Somewhere in this, there was a website you can go to be put on a do not call list. I don't know how up to date that is because this is from 2021, and these people are pretty quick. They can usually they have to turn that over pretty frequently. So you have to be careful about that too because they'll scam you if you put your number in the do not call list. That's
Any credit score questions, such credit score? No? No questions?
Uh,
Don't have any questions for him?
oh. I do directly to the bank. I want to know. I'll leave them alone.
Good to know.
Joanna,
Exactly.
Janet, Denise, did you guys have any questions?
No, but thank you, sir.
Oh, yeah. Thank you guys for coming in. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Glad to be here. Glad to talk about this. You guys are a pretty well informed group. It looks like this is going a lot better. People are kind of getting aware of this stuff because there was a couple of years ago when this was all really new. It was awful. People getting caught off guard, but we're starting to catch on. That's encouraging to see that you guys are doing good practices. So if that's all you all want to talk about, then I'll wrap it up.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
We've got one thing to do in the Google Classroom, and that's it for today, then. So if you'd go back to your Google Classroom, we haven't opened it up. I know, we've gone through one unit, so you getting tired, you got tired of it.
Appreciate you.
Oh, hey, I'm glad to be here. I got to get out of the office on a sunny day.
Yeah. Thank you, Dalton, appreciate you.
Oh, yeah.
Would you want me to read this?
Oh, absolutely. Do you want the copy of the big one or you want the handouts? Or here, I got unlimited printing. You can
Oh,
take
thank
them
you.
all. That's all the handouts and this is.
Because some people are gonna come in person later on, so I
Sure.
can hand
The
it.
bottom one is the whole material we went through.
Okay.
It looks like we made it halfway through it, so.
Okay.
I don't know if y'all ever want to find out what the other half is, feel free to.
Thank you so much.
I only ever made it halfway through.
Thank you so much. So,
Just nice talking to you all.
guys,
Alright.
let me make sure, I'll be right there. Let me make sure the door doesn't,
Oh, sure.
they do that fire doors, I don't know if they're all open yet.
How you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to start while he was in here talking. So,
How you doing? Alright. Good pick up.
Yeah. um, I hope we'll be able to get on to the website that we need to go to work on the resume and everything. I don't know if we can do that on here or not.
I think she already got, resume on.
Oh, does she?
I mean, I don't know if it's, what you may want.
Is that one we can use for at the VA?
You could, nah, I think it's for some other job. But
We'll look.
I actually. You want me to read this?
I guess so. Just ask any questions.
There's this question right here to answer, and then that's it for today.
You just want us to read,
All right, there's just one thing in the classroom, the Google Classroom today, and it's the question, we're under week 7 finances. There's some more little links there. I'm gonna try to see if I can download what Dalton had for you guys and do that for you. But what we're gonna do is there's some links you can look at, but there's a question. Let me see if I can get my screen to do that for you.
Hey, Miss Kathy, can you hear me?
I can, yes. Yes,
You're
I can.
frozen on our side.
Okay, it's freezing on mine too right now. It's just white.
Well, we can see you actually.
Okay. I'm trying to get, it's not wanting to cooperate. Let me quit it and start it back up again. Let's see. It's saying my network is unstable. Not sure why it thinks it's unstable. All right, there we go. So let me see if I can share that with you guys now.
Miss Rachel, we just put it over here. Smells like gasoline.
Have you seen?
Sorry.
It's not wanting to. All right, well, it might not let me share the screen with you. It looks like it's being difficult. Let me see. Oh, there we go. Now it's gonna let me. Okay, there we go. All right, can you see this now, the Google Classroom, my Google Classroom? Or is it still frozen?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, so under the topics, we're on week
You're
7.
frozen, but the classroom is up.
Okay, okay, weird. Okay, he might have done something kind of funky here. I tell you what I'm gonna do. Let me.
I'm not going to touch it till she comes back.
You have been made the host.
Yeah, and it's not supported on as a mobile client.
I don't want to be a host. We still have another half hour. These things are too long.
Look.
Can anybody else hear what Kathy's saying? Because she's muted.
No, I cannot hear. We can't.
Okay, because for a minute it popped up on my computer and it said Janet and Joetta are hosting now.
Yeah,
Oh.
it showed on here that I was a host, but I should not
yay!
be.
You're back. Yay.
There you are.
That is so weird. Okay, well, y'all can take over anytime.
No. No, ma'am. Bye.
Thank you for coming.
We are on week 7. There's one little question with the little blue question mark thing. There were some links right above that you can refer to later on, more information on how not to get scammed. This one wants to know what you'd like to feel more confident about in the budgeting world, whether it's online banking, using apps, avoiding scams, anything like that. So that's what they want you to answer down here where it says type your answer, and then you just hit turn in, and that's the only thing we have to do for today. But I do want to express to please, please, please RSVP. Those of you in my Zoom world, if you're able to come in person, that would be awesome. We'd love to see you. I'd love to meet you. I know Aaron's probably met with everybody, but I sure haven't. We've got wonderful food, good fellowship, and so forth. And if you can't still Zoom with us, we're still going to Zoom for the first part of it to do the post assessments kind of things. And then I'm going to take my little laptop and you guys can watch the events going on and see everybody else if you're not able to make it in person. So we're still going to make you a part of it. It's just you won't be able to enjoy the good food and stuff. But so please RSVP for that so we can see if you're going to be there or not. And once you've answered this question, then you are free to go for today. He was much quicker than I thought he would be, and nobody had any answers for or questions for him. I thought for sure y'all would ask him some very in-depth questions, but y'all were very quiet. All right. So go
And
ahead and answer that one. Yes, Denise?
I started to say, I don't remember. I probably just filed that somewhere or deleted that. Can we just tell you that we're coming?
You can, that's perfectly fine.
Okay. Now,
So
are
are
we
you-
supposed to be there at 2 or 2:30 next Tuesday?
Be there at 2 unless you do a you're pretty savvy with the computer. If you want to do the pre-assessment stuff earlier, you can, because you can log on at any time and do those two under week 8. There's 2 of them there to do. One of them is a survey and one's called a post-assessment. If you want to wait, you can come. We've got 15 computers here in the classroom. You're welcome to come in and do this. We'll join our wonderful gentlemen that are here every week with us, and you can meet them and do the computer thing and then go over to the classroom. So it's whatever fits your needs best, okay?
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right. Janet and Joetta, are you going to be able to join us in person maybe?
Miss Jan said that she doesn't think that she'll be able to make it, but I think I'm gonna come on the Thursday.
Okay.
Is that the one at 2 o'clock
No,
Thursday?
the one at 2 o'clock is Tuesday. The one
Okay, that's
Thursday
the
is at
one.
9:30 in the morning.
No, I won't come Tuesday.
Okay, yeah, that's the 2 o'clock one. I'd love to
All right.
meet you in person.
All right. And you as well. Thank you.
Thank you. And you guys have a great week, okay?
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, this one what is one financial skill you would like to feel more confident about? So do you feel comfortable with everything in the financial world, or do you want to learn more? He did a good job talking about
Yes, he
scans, but something you want to be more confident about. Do you like using a bank app? Is that something you'd like to be more confident about? Using your debit card versus a credit card, bank balancing, being aware, something that you feel you need to be a little more confident about.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, I don't know what happened.
Oh, well, you
I
just-
clicked that X up there and it went on.
All right, that's okay. We can always find you. All right, and you didn't log out yet, so no worries. That's all right, things. You just wanted to see that cute little rabbit, whatever it was. Week 7, financial literacy. These are links that you can refer back to later on. This is the question that we're gonna ask today. What's one financial skill you would like to feel more confident about? And so you type in your answer here. So I don't know if you heard me telling Wilford the kind of examples they're looking for, but using your debit card, you've done a good job. It looks like kind of making sure you're not getting scammed, but maybe using an app if that's something you need to feel more confident about, or so they've got some suggestions here for you. And you just go ahead and type in your answer.
Let me ask you another one. I have a question.
Okay.
You, what's the job search?
Oh, yeah, I'm Victor. I think we.
Hi,
did-
Victor. Yeah, I thought you were supposed to be last week,
Oh,
but
no.
I have my weeks wrong, yeah, I guess.
I think maybe, that they.
Okay, yeah, because Aaron said, did we show up? I'm like, no, we didn't.
No, I had other plans last week,
Oh, okay.
but, he said that maybe you already had a resume.
We do have a resume. Mhm.
So what I can do, we had talked about him applying for a position over at the VA, so I thought about,
Okay,
that I could, adapt that,
Yeah.
for that.
Mhm.
If we had.
You good? Okay, let me escort you to, I can print one up right here, right now for you, if you
That'd
like,
be
or you wanna take it with you.
That'd be great.
Let me escort him out first, so we don't set off fire alarms. Oh, that's right. That's right. Perfect. Okay, then we'll see you next week. Thank you so much. You too. Right, so we can come back to that one. Let me go ahead and print up what we've got here. And if he knows how to execute this, he can get to this anytime himself. Because it should be. It's right here. Oh, perfect. So this is the one that we worked on. And we can print this up right here. Now, it's not gonna be in color here.
Oh, that's fine.
And I can also share it and send it to you if you would like.
I'm not allowed to receive anything like that through email.
Oh, okay.
Um,
All right, then I guess I won't be sharing it.
We have HIPAA things.
Gotcha.
For our hospital.
Gotcha, okay.
So what we need to do is, we're gonna need to meet over at the VA, because we're gonna have to go onto the USA Jobs website. You're gonna have to set up an account on there, for us to be able to apply for that.
There you
Thank
go.
you. Um, and, once we get that account set up, I mean, cause I can't do that for you, you have to come up with a password and everything like that,
Okay.
so.
I gave I gave that password now.
You can use whatever password you want, you just have to set up the account,
Okay.
but we've got computers.
He's gonna need some help with that and remembering his password. He hits a little bit.
Yeah, I have trouble with that myself, but.
We all do.
I can capital out.
But we'll set up a time to do that. I did wanna let you know, I am retiring.
Oh,
And, so I'm not, the date is actually at the end of August.